Hello everyone, welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot. My name is Rebecca and today we're going to get right into the 7-day love outlook for Virgo. Alright, so this is the 7-day Virgo in love. Thank you so much for coming by the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That helps me a lot if you enjoy my video. Thank you also for sticking by me if you're already a subscriber. I have been away for some months recharging. I think everybody has, but I'm back now, and this is going to be all about Virgo, my lovely Virgos. All right, so let's get right into it. Show me what's going on. Show me. For Virgo, next 7 days. Alright, we have straight out the center, Ace of Swords. Wow, that's nice, I like that. The Moon, oops, crossing. Above, Two of Swords, more sword activity. Underneath, 10 of Swords. 3 of Cups, and the Fool. Wow. Moon covering Ace of Swords. This is interesting. A lot of sword, right? We have swords all the way down the middle. So your mental activity, the way you see yourself, we'll get into it, but there's a lot of mental games going on, or a lot of mental activity, a lot of thinking going on this next 7 days. Certainly decision making. 6 of Wands, greeted with the 7 of Wands. Interesting. King of Wands. And then we finish off with a 6 of Pentacles. All right. At the bottom, we have the Hermit. All right. I'm going to put him right there. All right. Wow. Let's move him up a little bit. Get it all in there. Interesting. Very interesting. Virgo. Ace of Swords. It's a whole new sort of outlook. You may even have been inspired recently. Ace of Swords, it's the feeling of a brilliant solution coming in, a brilliant idea coming in, a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. Can sometimes even be sort of a new outlook that you have on yourself, right? But it's sort of like, bing, you know, the sword comes in. Sometimes it can just represent an understanding of a truth also. Being covered with the moon. So there's a lot of emotions going on, right? There's a lot of emotions going on over the next 7 days, and you're going to be feeling very much like you're tested. The moon, more than anything, is a testing phase, right? It's a period where our strength, you know, it's the 18 card. The first 8 is the strength card. We've accumulated some strength. We've learned some lessons. And now the moon is when we are put in sort of that gray area, that dark territory where we don't know what's coming or going. We don't know what the exact answers to the questions are supposed to be. We are meant to rely on all of the strength that we have accumulated and invested in ourselves to get through this period. It's a period of unknowing. It can be a highly emotional period. It can be a highly psychic period for some people, right? Because they will then begin to lean on their psychic abilities and their intuitive abilities to be able to figure out the situation or the environment or the phase that they're going through at the moment. And so you're being tested right at the same time that you're having some brilliant ideas coming in, some new ideas coming in. It's a very, very interesting time for you. Now, 2 of Swords above, 10 of Swords at the bottom. Again, I want to say this is also going to be a week for you of trying to find a compromise or trying to find your way in an impossible decision. 2 of Swords, the land of indecision. Which way shall I go? But the lesson with the 2 of Swords is that it isn't always about going one way or the other, but it is about finding a balance. 2 of Swords is Moon and Libra energy. So we're trying to find a balance here, and sometimes the way to find a balance is to go within yourself and find a third way, right? Or find another way. Find something that is more in touch with you, with where you want to be and who you are. Oftentimes, Two of Swords can be accompanied with a lot of anxiety, because sometimes, Virgo, it feels like somebody's making you make a decision. They're putting you between a rock and a hard place. They're giving you two choices, two impossible choices, and forcing you to choose. And so sometimes it can feel like this is really something being put upon you. In these times, you want to, again, take a moment, go within, and remember that, you always have another choice, right? In the bottom, in your unconscious, you have 10 of Swords. So you're coming to the end also of a period of a lot of struggling, a period of having really, a long period of, I want to say, having been knocked down and gotten up and knocked down and gotten up, especially swords to the ego, periods where you've had to sort of swallow your pride, where you've had to sort of admit defeat. Difficult times. That's what 10 of Swords is about. But oftentimes, the 10 marks a period of completion and the period of beginning as well, that moment, right? 10 is completion, also the start of something new. And with 10 of Swords, oftentimes, there'll be the final straw. There's a final straw that comes in, or a final defeat that you go through that kind of obliterates the ego that you have, right? So you've been through so much that now you are emerging out of this final last sort of event, or this last sort of blow to your ego. You'll be coming out of it a very much different person, right? It's kind of, you resonate up with all the tens in tarot. We're resonating to another level. 10 of Swords is like you're resonating to another level where the same old things that used to hurt you before are no longer hurting you. It is also as a result of a final sort of stab to the ego. However, it's also kind of like an ending to a period of weakness and coming into, not weakness per se, but everything that you are, it's been sort of used up, right? And you're now coming out into a much stronger self. You won't be harmed or hurt, or you won't be laid low by the same blows and the same events and the same thoughts even that laid you low before. Remember, Swords always rules the mind. It rules the personality and the way that we see ourselves. 3 of Cups and a Fool. So you're coming from a period of a lot of socializing, right? Maybe these last 7 to 10 days, maybe up to the last 2 weeks, you've done a lot of socializing, a lot of reaffirming bonds. And 3 of Cups, friendship is the card for friendship, the friendship trinity coming together, reaffirming loyalties. A lot of times it can represent celebration and friendship in the general sense, but certainly it can represent time where you have really put the effort into reaffirming certain friendships, right? Strengthening certain bonds. That's the kind of energy you're coming out of. Having said that, the Hermit is at the bottom of your deck. It is your card, Virgo. That's your card, the Hermit. But in any case, you're coming out of, you have Hermit at the bottom of the deck, so there is a feeling of wanting to be much more solitary. Could be that the celebration most recently has come on the back of not seeing a lot of your friends in quite some time, or a big change in your life, maybe a change in moving or what have you. Now, you come into a period of the Fool, right? So the Fool is great. It's a new period for you. It's also, the Fool's an interesting card. A lot of times it's interpreted as taking a leap of faith, but oftentimes it's not even so much that you're taking a leap of faith, but it's more that you have really kind of completed a certain lesson in your life, right? And you're kind of leaping back into the unknown. The Fool is the one who moves from lesson to lesson to lesson to lesson. And so the Fool is oftentimes the master of something and still the fool of something else, something new, right? oftentimes full energy comes in after a big lesson, or full energy will come in after a period of reinventing yourself, changing yourself. Oftentimes the Fool will come in after a Ten of Swords or a Tower moment. And so it makes sense to me, certainly with this testing from the Moon coming in, that you feel kind of rejuvenated and refreshed. And yes, you're ready to step into the unknown. You're ready to take a bit of a leap of faith in the future, but certainly it's coming on the back, Virgo, of you having learned some very significant lessons recently, and certainly having gone through some of significant transformation with this Ten of Swords. Some of you may have indeed been very solitary for some period with that Hermit card. And again, you may go back to periods of solitude this next 7 days with that Hermit, because in the back of your mind, you're still on that path. You're still on that spiritual journey of sort of finding where you want to be. And so the Hermit kind of resonates throughout all of this. You're okay pulling away. Again, this is a love reading, and so interpret this in your love life as you would. We do not have any cup cards here, so there's not a specific sort of direct line. So it's much more to do with decision making, right? There's a lot of decision making going on with regard, if you are in a relationship with somebody. Again, this will apply. It may be that for quite some time you've had a certain decision on your mind, and this week, there's been some issues with, you having to acquiesce, you having to take the blow. So, this is a very mental week for a relationship for you. And again, a testing phase. So for some of you, it may feel like a testing phase in this relationship, or it may just feel like a testing phase in the way that you are handling or dealing with your love life. Still, you'll be coming out of it with this new sense of a new chapter in your life. And again, it can be that you've come to an understanding with someone in your life with a love connection, and you may both be part of this new chapter, but it feels solitary to me here. Okay, so for some of you, take that as you will. How do you come into the week? Well, you're coming in with Six of Wands, and what is greeting you is Seven of Wands energy, right? So you're coming on the heels of a victory. You're feeling very victorious. Again, it could be coming out of this Ten of Swords is over the next 7 days again, so it's a process. But I feel like it could very well be this kind of confidence you found here with the Ace of Swords, Three of Cups. You've come back to some friendship. I think you probably needed to be with some friends recently that you have been with recently, and so this is all making you feel very victorious, making you feel like you've come out on top. However, again, you still have the Moon covering you over the next 7 days. And the Six of Wands is a temporary victory, right? It's a winning the battle, not the war. So Six of Wands, the flip side to this energy is to remember that it is indeed temporary, that yes, right now all eyes are on you, but keep pushing, keep going forward. Don't sort of just get comfortable in this recent victorious feeling, because it's momentary. And what greets you with this energy is a Seven of Wands. It's a feeling of maintaining. So it's interesting. Somebody in your life is wanting to really maintain their position, right? They're wanting to maintain their spot, their position. And I'm feeling here with this reading that somehow your victory here is kind of making them almost a little jealous and making them feel as though they are being set upon. It could be a miscommunication. Again, with all these swords, there may be some communication issues for sure with other people, right? Because a lot of the times when you have great communication, understanding with yourself, it's other people around you who are confused if they don't have that same with themselves. In any case, it's interesting that on the heels or in response to this feeling of victory with the Six of Wands, there is this feeling of valor coming in, but it's coming in to greet you. This could also be, for some of you, it could be that somebody is now willing to fight, right, for you in response to seeing you be victorious. So it could be for some of you that you are kind of getting a little bit of, not a reward, but perhaps someone in your life, someone in your love life, or you've been in love with, you care for, right? Remember love reading, who perhaps up until now has not given you as much support or hasn't fought for you as hard as you would have liked. They're witnessing this kind of victory here, right? They're witnessing that right now all eyes are on you, that you are having a bit of a moment in the sun, that you've come through something here, right? You're coming in, you've come through something, you're stronger now. It could be for some of you Virgos that someone in your life is recognizing that. They also see that you're willing to kind of step out on your own now, on the back of all of this confidence that you have coming in. And now the energy that they're willing to give to you is one of valor. You see what I'm saying? It could be, and I'm feeling that for some of you Virgos, that's the energy of this card, that somebody is now willing to sort of fight for you in response to all of this. Could be that they haven't, not necessarily that they haven't before. For some of you, it may feel like they haven't before. But it will be coming into stark sort of relief this week. You will see it this week because this is the 7th day. What do you fear? King of Wands. And what is the outcome? 6 of Pentacles. Well, King of Wands in a position of fear. It's interesting. Sometimes the King of Wands is the leader. He's the leader oftentimes because he is so unique, right? He's so unique. He's willing to walk to the beat of his own drum. And he is eccentric, right? He's different than the emperor who commands respect, right? He requires respect from those around him because that is a card of power and sometimes domination, asserting your authority. The King of Wands is the king by example. He is the natural leader that people want to follow. He is the revolutionary also, right? Oftentimes he is the revolutionary in a lot of ways, but the one that has been successful, right? Unlike the Knight of Wands, who may be more like the Sheikh or something like that, but I digress. King of Wands is extremely sort of influential, but he's influential, and a lot of times it can feel like a burden. Okay, so Virgo, it could be that for some of you, you fear a little bit of this burden. You may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. It could be that some of you, again, with a love, in the context of this love reading, it could be that your partner represents King of Wands in a certain way, or in some ways is a King of Wands, and that is presenting with you a little bit of fear or anxiety, even in as much as feeling worthy of them or feeling as though you can compete with them. It could be vice versa. Remember, with these readings, it could be vice versa. It can be that in your life, the anxiety, in your love life, the anxiety and fear that is being manifest is a fear of either having to compete to be the King of Wands, or it can be the pressure of being the King of Wands, of being the one that everyone looks up to, being the example. In some way, this is figuring into your anxiety and your love life this week. But how does it all turn out? 6 of Pentacles. So for some of you, and again, if you're resonating with this reading, great. If you don't resonate with it, that's fine. There's millions of readings out there. Not all readings will resonate with all people. And certainly, as I do these for signs, and they're not individual readings, but you wind off your week with this feeling of 6 of Pentacles, which is interesting because it's a feeling of charity and benevolence, being willing to give, being willing to share, finding harmony and the wealth that you have and the wealth that you give to others. And it is a card of harmony, right? 6 being the number for harmony, also being the number for finding harmony, journeying to harmony. And so it's interesting that there is a harmony in that area of the Pentacles, material wealth and things like that. It can be that was also at the heart of this love connection. There may be a financial component. You may be working together. You may be working in the same business. One may work for the other. And again, this all harkens back to the 2 of Swords, decision making. There's a decision that needs to be made. There's new ideas that are coming in, and there's a testing. It all revolves around status, money that's coming in, wealth, how you see each other in relation to each other, right? This is a very mental week for this relationship, a week of sorting out where you stand, certainly a week of understanding each other, maybe coming up with new solutions and working out the, I want to say, the power dynamic. And ultimately, this power dynamic, working it out, and especially for you, Virgo, coming into a new way of seeing yourself with this Fool, is coming into a harmony of money. It could be that up until now, money or finances or the material side of the relationship for you, Virgo, has been uneven for whatever reason due to sort of this unevenness with the power dynamic. So this next 7 days will be sort of the center of attention for all of this. All right, guys, so let me pull out an animal spirit for you. I'm going to pull out 2 animal spirits, one for you and one for representing either your love life or your partner, if you are with a partner, you know, or representing the energy in your love life that is coming towards you if you are not with a partner. Show me what's going on. Show me. For my lovely Virgo, show me. Oop. Yeah, that one came out earlier for Taurus. Let's give it another shuffle. Show me what's going on for my lovely Virgo. One more. All right. This tarantula, wow. All right, crossroads, fire, and the crow, messages coming in. Okay, well, there you go. All right, Virgo, there you go. You're at a crossroads. The tarantula represents the crossroads. It's a fire. It is a fire elemental animal spirit, and it represents a period in your life where you are making big decisions. The tarantula takes absolutely its time before it makes any step with any of its 8 legs. It is a powerful, powerful omen animal spirit that really can represent a whole change in your life from one direction to another. And again, decisions, new ideas coming out of this and entering with the Fool. This is a very conscious, intentional period of change for you. And for some of you, it is a crossroads in your relationship, whether your relationship will endure or not, or whether your relationship goes down a different path. It is for you to say. And then the crow, which is, of course, air element, and it represents messages from the ancestors, messages from the spirits, messages from your own spiritual self, your higher self. The crow is such a powerful, magical creature, but more than anything, the keen insight, the intelligence that the crow shows, the ability to remember. The crow can remember so many things and tap into that for its keen insight. And so the crow, more than anything, is letting you know that now is the time to pay attention to the omens around you, to the messages around you, and to have keen insight, to have keen sight, to be aware, to watch through the eyes of experience and the knowledge that you have, and through the memory that you have of past events as well, so that your mind can be focused where it needs to be focused. Excellent, excellent energy. You could be representing or resonating with either or both of these cards, and certainly your partner or your love life can also be sort of manifesting with both of these cards in terms of messaging and being at the crossroads with that strong fire tarantula energy. All right, my lovely, lovely Virgos. For some reason, Scorpio keeps coming into my mind. So for some of you, you may be dealing with a Scorpio. I keep wanting to say Scorpio when I'm saying Virgo. For some of you, I'm thinking Taurus. There's Taurus energy there too. All right, guys. But for right now, I'm just going to say have a wonderful, wonderful next 7 days. Thank you for sticking by me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you at the next Virgo reading. Bye-bye now.